Hello, local government leaders and aspiring leaders. Welcome back to Local Gov Podcast with my host, Melanie. And I'm not going to butcher her last name again, so I'm going to
Oh,
have
you
her
can
do
say it.
that.
Santostefano. It's not bad.
Santostefano. And
It's
I'm
not
Danny
bad.
Langloss, and it's great to be with you.
It's great to be with you and great to be with everybody here today. We have so much going on right now. Spring is finally spring, even though it could be 30 degrees tomorrow. It's been a back and forth. I got out in the sun today and I have a little glow on me. I hope the weather is finally here for good. We've all been waiting patiently, haven't we? It's been a rough couple of weeks.
Yeah, ups and downs. But, yesterday it started off a little gloomy, but then it turned to the better, which was great because yesterday was a big day for our family, Melanie.
Why? What's going on with your family?
My oldest son, Braden,
Yeah,
who's about to turn 22, just graduated from North Central College with a business degree.
that's so exciting. What is he planning on doing?
Well, he's been accepted to the management program for Sherman-Williams, and he's been working there part-time since January, and he's super excited, and he's going to be living in Naperville, and we got to celebrate, and after his graduation, which had like 900 and some people graduating, it was impressive.
Yeah,
Went and played a little top golf. So it was just a great day overall.
that's really nice. That's just so exciting.
What about Charlie? How old's Charlie now?
Charlie is 17, and we are now starting to talk about what college he would like to go to, which is wow. I mean, gosh, the day he was born is like yesterday, and here we are 17. So we're doing that. He did really good. He got a 31 on his ACT, which is a really impressive score. It's his first ACT. He's a go-getter. He wants to get a 33 at least. I'm like, go
That
for it.
is
Go for it. More scholarship dollars for mom.
That is crazy. And,
Yeah.
I know that you vowed to never be a soccer mom, but apparently now you're a real bad A water polo mom.
Water polo. For those of you out there that have seen water polo games, it is the most exciting game I've ever witnessed, and it's over in 40 minutes. So it's totally ideal. You can go cheer your kid on, and it's not a big time commitment.
That is
Like,
that is awesome.
it's
Hey, we got to
fun.
give a shout out for our good friend Phil Corrali, who's
Yeah.
currently running for the ICMA board. The voting is open through May 29th, and Phil has just been a rock star for our association. So to see him step to that next level to help
Yeah.
represent us at the ICMA level, that's really exciting.
It is so exciting. And I texted Phil when I saw that. He's just is going for leadership after leadership role. And he really is an excellent face for the profession. He's just well spoken, professional, and he's just all over the place. So we are wishing Phil great luck, and everyone watching needs to vote for him before May 29th, or I guess you can vote on May 29th, but we're rooting for Phil for
Yeah, we
sure.
gotta get out there. We gotta support him. We gotta vote for him. Really cool to see that. And you look at Phil, who's demonstrated his leadership, who's led ILCMA, who's taking this journey now and done so much more, just
Yeah.
touching the surface. But today I was excited to watch your interview with Ashley Palbitska. She is the assistant to the village manager, city
City.
manager at Highland
Yeah.
Park to Gita
Mhm.
Newkirk, a great friend and mentor of mine. She's
Yeah.
also the deputy city clerk. And what was really cool for me is it brought to life the importance for us to succession plan, to
Mhm.
empower, to develop, to give opportunity. But
Mhm.
also, a key takeaway you talked about that I walked away with as well is we can't sit back and wait for someone always to see something in us. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes you
Yeah.
got to raise your hand and say, hey, I want to grow, I want to stretch, I want to help. And her energy and just her aptitude and just the way she loves local government, great interview.
Yeah, I had a chance, to interview her, and I was very impressed. She is one of those people that just has taken every opportunity. She's had several roles, all within the city of Highland Park. And I think we should say no more and let y'all see the video, I'm sorry, the interview with Ashley and I. So today I have the opportunity to be with Ashley Palbitska. She is the assistant to the city manager and the deputy city clerk for the city of Highland Park. And she has the opportunity to work with the wonderful Gita Newkirk, who many of us know, and we all know, if we know her, that she's really a true leader. And today we're going to hear from Ashley how Gita's leadership is affecting Ashley's experiences in the local government profession. So, Ashley, thank you for being here with us today.
Hi, thank you, Melanie. I appreciate your time.
Absolutely. So glad to have you. And, this is an important conversation about making sure as leaders, and whether that's a business, a nonprofit, or a government organization, to make sure that the individuals who aren't quite at the very tip top yet are gaining experiences and learning and growing and having the opportunity to jump in on things that maybe are a little bit outside of their responsibilities. And we're going to hear more about what you've been doing at the City of Highland Park. So, but first, before we get there, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got into the local government profession?
Sure, I'd be happy to. So I had graduated high school in 2004. I was afforded the opportunity to start my local government career as a building division intern. So I did that for a few years. I actually one summer did work in the forestry department as well as a forestry department intern. And then kind of just went to college and then came back, worked part-time as a building division intern as well, and then also worked in economic development. So I was able to do both of those positions at the same time.
Mhm.
Based on my time that I had been here, I then did apply for a full-time administrative assistant position for community development as a whole. I did that for a little bit, was afforded the opportunity to leave the organization, kind of decide was public sector really something that I wanted to stay in. So I did leave for about 2 years, went into
Mhm.
the private sector. Realized that definitely was not where I fit. Public sector was a lot more my kind of stride and the types of people that I wanted to work with. So after I left the private sector, I then came back part-time with our economic development manager and then took on the position of administrative assistant in the deputy clerk's office and then interviewed for the deputy city clerk. Did that for a little bit. Based on my experience and my performance, I was then afforded the opportunity to be promoted to the assistant to the city manager. And that's where I'm at right now.
Well, that's a big resume, is it not? And we might mention that all of those experiences have been with the City of Highland Park. So Ashley is one of those individuals that started at the very ground level as an intern and then just kept moving on and up, really, which demonstrates that you obviously have a passion for what you do. I'm a strong believer that if you have passion, nothing can really stop you from continuing to catapult up. So, and let's talk a little bit about you leaving local government for a moment. So, you were younger and wanting to experience different things, which I think is great for everyone to do. But I find it interesting that after that 2 year experience, you're like, yep, it's local government. So, in addition to the people, what about the work was something that really, excited you?
It was very rewarding. So it didn't matter what I was doing on a day-to-day basis. I was able to, work with members of the community, work with the business community, and just kind of have those one-on-one interactions with people. They would come in, any walk of life, and you're able to kind of, if you wanted to help them through their process or give them more information, share events that we have going on in town, get them really excited as residents here in Highland Park to just become part of the community if they haven't already.
Yeah. And also working in economic development, community development roles, you do sometimes have to deal with the hard ones, right? Like there's many people wanting to put a pool in their backyard. They think they could just do that on their own. And obviously there are rules and regulations and permits to purchase and all of those things that you need to do. So did you have to deal with challenges like that from time to time?
Yes, I mean, I think we all, face some challenges like that in this role, just being in local government. We just worked with them. We kind of took the viewpoints of, we understand that this individual is frustrated. They're frustrated possibly at a process. They're frustrated, something else may be affecting them in life. They're
Mhm.
not upset with us as an individual. And so we have to keep that in the back of our mind and kind of think, where is this person coming from? Put myself in their shoes and kind of, you know, walk through the process and kind of work with them and understand them.
Yeah, that's a very wise perspective to have because I think it's hard when someone's yelling at you to be like, they're not mad at me, they're just mad at the process.
Yeah.
It feels like someone's attacking you. I've been there. And you know what it is? It teaches you so much about how to deal with people over time. You just kind of learn to roll with it better. and you had so many roles in that space that I'm sure you've gotten excellent at just having a smile and saying, "We're going to make this work for you, sir or
Yeah.
ma'am." Okay, so bringing you up to today. So I do know, we always have an initial conversation just so we can get acquainted and learn a little bit more. And I am aware that you were given more than a few opportunities to kind of grow in your role and maybe go a little bit outside of your role just to gain experiences. Um, and one of them was a very large infrastructure project in the city of Highland Park. So why don't you tell us your role in that and all the things that you got to do to learn?
Sure. Gita, our city manager, had approached me and kind of talked me through the process. We were working on an $11 million project in our downtown in 2024. Not only were we having one project go on at a time, we actually had two projects simultaneously going on at the same time that I was afforded the opportunity to become the project manager for. So one part of the project was we were repaving our entire downtown. So,
Yikes. That sounds not good.
and
Only,
it was in the middle of the summer and
yeah.
everybody's like, it's my business, my busy time. People are coming
Mhm.
in.
Yeah.
What are we going to do? So that was part of the project, and that was our project kickoff for the summer. And so it was a lot of, letters to businesses. We do have some residents that are downtown, so it's putting those letters together, sending them out.
Yeah.
I worked collaboratively with our public works department. They were the main department for this. And
Yeah.
being the business liaison through the city manager's office, I was able to work with the businesses. We have a page on the city's website for all of our construction projects. So it
Mhm.
was keeping up to date on that page, sending communication out every week. And then the other bigger part of this project was we had an infrastructure project that we were working on Second Street,
Mhm.
where we were going to be ripping up the entire street.
Wow.
Yes, so we had definitely had some upset businesses, but it's going back to putting yourself in their shoes. How
Yeah.
are they going to feel about this? How can we work with them? So I was able to closely work with our public works department again, our city engineer, our public works director, and I got the opportunity to also work with our engineering firm that we were able to collaborate with. And
Yeah.
so we would have weekly meetings, weekly touch bases. I was going out almost every day to kind of do a walkthrough, wanted to make sure things were clean, that businesses didn't have to worry about tracking too much dirt or, kind of like construction material into
Yeah.
their businesses. It was definitely something that they were concerned about. So it's, going out and staying on top of our contractors,
Mhm.
reporting anything. And then also we did have some issues where, people were very concerned about ADA compliance. We were working on trying to make sure that the street stayed in a necessary way for ADA compliance to ensure that all individuals could visit, no matter their capabilities. So we worked with one of the schools that we have in place. They came down, we talked to them, we walked through with them, we listened to their concerns, and we did as best as we could and within the parameters that we were required as it relates to ADA. So I learned a lot about ADA
Yeah.
compliance.
That's a ton of things you had to deal with. So
Yes.
many groups, so many groups. My company has done a couple of projects similar where the businesses were just kind of blocked off for really the whole summer. And what you mentioned about just sending weekly communications, the biggest thing I think when you find challenges is when there's open space and no information, as opposed to, okay, they are sending an email every week or they're touching base with us. You're making that personal connection with going down there, taking a look, walking around. I'm sure you poked your head into businesses from time to time just to say, hey,
Yep.
I'm here. You're not mad at me,
Yep.
you're mad at that.
Right.
um, that's wonderful. What an experience for you. So there was one more project that we talked about a little bit that you took on also. Which one was that again?
So our enterprise planning resource project,
Oh, ERP.
yes,
That's a fun one.
ERP.
I know everyone out there can't wait to do that if they haven't done it already.
Yes.
That's a large project to undertake.
Yes, it was. It was. And it's in my career, I've been here. This is the second implementation for an enterprise resource planning system that we have gone through. I was not part of the implementation team the first time. I was on the tail end of it, but I definitely was hands-on with this project, was asked to be a project lead for our department based on my previous experience being here.
What a great, and though both of those experiences, and I know there's more than those, but we'll just kind
Yeah.
of stay with those. It's like what diverse knowledge you've learned, from more the technology angle and then boots on the street, working with different departments, outside organizations like the engineering firm, having to maintain contact with businesses. I can't imagine all the things that you learned through those just those two.
Yes.
Yeah. So and this is very important in general, right? It relates to succession planning, right? Now we don't know if you want to have Gita's role when she's through with it. But it seems to be that you're in the position and gaining the experiences and being given those opportunities by Gita and the rest of your leadership to make sure that you have perspective and gain historical knowledge on things that have gone on in the city. I mean, down the road, there might be another ERP, and you're going to be like, "Oh, I've gone through this twice." Don't worry, guys, we got it. Uh, do you have any big construction projects happening this summer at all?
I mean, we always have construction projects. None that I'm on this year, but
Yeah.
we've got quite a bit going on, quite a bit of development going on as well.
Yeah. So now for 20 years, you have literally experienced so many different roles within the city of Highland Park. So what is your take on, so I'm interested how those opportunities came about. Were you asking for them or were they brought to you or is it a mix of both? Like, tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. It's definitely a mix of both. So I basically, when I started, looked at the opportunities that were available, kind of kept up with where do I want to maybe grow more and see the positions that may be available. So, did my own research.
Yeah.
And then when I came back as working in economic development, there was a position that was open in the clerk's office. I interviewed for it. And then the deputy city clerk position opened up. I interviewed for that as well. And then as it relates to projects, it's definitely I always voiced between my like director and the city manager, I'm interested in expanding my opportunities. How can you help guide me? What can I look at? What resources do we have? And then kind of, moved in that direction. I also think, based on my experience and based on my relationships and building those relationships and working with people across the organization, they were able to kind of see what my strengths were to be able to be offered those opportunities. And then I was promoted to the assistant city manager just by, strong work ethic.
Well, you know what? My hat's off to you because you do have to advocate for yourself, right? And sometimes, maybe the thought isn't there because everything's so busy and moving and we need to get this done. But when you have what I call an up and comer saying, "Hey, what about me? I would like to learn more." I mean, as a leader of my organization, I love that when people want to step in and say, "Hey, I haven't done that before, but can I get involved?" That lights me up. Um, and funny enough, very recently I was at IAMA. I know you couldn't make that, but that is an organization that you fit just right into. It's exciting to be at IAMA because there's so many. Not everyone's completely young. There's a good age range, but there are people who are really interested in just getting deep and involved and gaining more. And that's what you've done with the city of Highland Park. I commend you for
Thank you.
that. I also commend Gita and the rest of the leadership for giving you these chances because the information as leaders of any organization cannot just live inside your head, right? One day, we don't know when, right? The baton has to be passed or the torch has to be passed on. And there has to be a great comfort in knowing that, for instance, you look at all these experiences and I don't think you're going to stop, right?
No, nope, I'm not.
You're a hard worker, I can tell. So yeah, so any advice for people who are wanting to gain more experiences or in similar roles like you in other local government organizations?
Sure. So I definitely have I have great leaders. So our assistant city manager Jason and our city manager Gita Newkirk, they have an open door policy. So being able to go into a conversation with them and say, hey, I'm interested in expanding my experience. I'm interested in this part of the organization. Can you help me? And they're always willing to say, okay, let's sit down and understand what we have available. Let me see if we can get you working with that part of the organization. It's
Mhm.
definitely advocating for yourself. It's definitely not just, as you kind of said, sticking into your own silo. We all work together and we all are a part of the same organization. And if you find something that you're interested in, go and ask for it, kind of thing. So, and I really instill that in the individuals that report to me as well. I want to share that opportunity for them, and so does all of our leadership here at Highland Park. If we see somebody that is excelling at what they are, and we know that they are kind of like you said, an up and comer, and we know that they're going to fit great and work on big projects like this, we always advocate and tell them, let us know what you want to do. If we don't have anything on the pipeline, take a look, see what's available, and we'd be happy to work with you.
Very sage advice. And I really love how you are paying forward to what has been given to you. And that is really what I believe our world should always be about, right?
Yes,
Making sure that if you can mentor and guide other people, that you should. So
definitely.
that's wonderful. Any final thoughts on just the government, local government profession in general? Just things that you've learned or nuggets, those types of things?
Yeah, definitely get involved in your organization, in your community, or the groups like ILCMA and IAMA. Those are great opportunities. Network with individuals, whether they're in the same position you're at or not, either in a more senior position or a position that may be closer to like entry level. Definitely network. I also highly recommend build those relationships. You want to make sure that you are building relationships with everybody in the organization that you can. One day you're going to need assistance or you're going to need to call on somebody. And it's great to be able to surround yourself with a supportive type of people group that's really looking out for you as well, and have fun. I mean, local government can be crazy and can be
Yeah.
wild, but it's a fun organization and a fun sector to be a part of, and make your impact. I would say you are an individual, but you can make a lot of impact with what you do in your role, no matter what your role is.
Yeah, I mean that is the great thing about local government. You really are impacting people's daily lives. Look at especially that construction project, that infrastructure project, like those were lives, livelihoods
Yes.
even, right? So making sure that you're advocating for them, helping them understand the process and how it's going to go and how we can help you. So, well, I'm really honored to have you here with us. It's really been a great understanding of your trajectory in local government. Can't wait to see what else you're going to do. I think it's going to be more. I have a feeling. Well, thank you so much for being here, Ashley. It's been great to have you.
Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Wow, Melanie, the fact that she was empowered and stepped up and led that multi-million-dollar infrastructure project, that's impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we've been involved in my company with the communications piece, but Ashley was literally central to all groups, contractors, public works, the village, or city rather, and also residents who were challenged by this because there are residences in this area and all the businesses. And I have dealt with businesses who have been circled by construction projects for an entire summer, and that's not a happy crowd. So it just seems that she got such a pole position to learn so many things that I told her, as you heard in the interview, if you want to go through leadership, like you're gaining all those skills to get there. So it was really, really great to meet Ashley, and she's a great example for other young people who, you know, raise your hand, right? Get
Raise your
involved.
hand.
Yeah,
Well, I
get.
know the focus, and we've got to continue to recruit in that pipeline of people into
Yeah,
local government. They're going to come at different levels, but the opportunity to proactively and intentionally grow them, and Gita is just one of the best at that,
yeah,
is something special. And to see Ashley step into this, and I did really like it. Meant something to me when she talked about the importance of proactively communicating with the businesses, doing those check-ins,
yeah.
being out in front of it, being responsive, being an ear just to listen. Just
Mhm.
like a home remodel, which we're embarking in right now. House is going to be tore up for 4 to 5 weeks. Major kitchen remodel.
Yeah.
It's going to be that. But the fact that you have conversation with your contractor, in this case, the fact that these businesses have conversations with their city and that people care and they're willing to listen, it
Yep.
changes everything. So a lot of different great takeaways here.
Yeah, it does. People just want to feel like they've been heard, like and
Mm.
acknowledged. And she talked a little bit about that. So shifting gears, along with the springing, there are so many events coming up, including summer conference. So as many of you know, if you watch this podcast, you know that I always register. Well, I don't really register that quick, but I get my hotel room the day that email comes out. I haven't heard the update on if the main hotel is there, but all you have to do is go to the website and check it out. But we have other events coming up too. Danny, were you going to mention those?
I will mention those. But yeah, June 3rd to the 5th, summer conference, Peoria. It's where I grew up. You might not have known that, Melanie, but that's where I grew up. But we also have other things coming. Friday, May 15th, Legacy Project Conference in Naperville from 8 to 5. Wednesday, May 20th, the Metro Golf Outing. That sounds like a ton of fun.
I'm golfing in that.
You're golfing in that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Can't
All
wait.
right. Thursday, May 21st, IAMA FOIA training. And then Friday, May 29th, IAMA and Metro SIPs and TIPS from 7:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. And then the summer conference. So lots coming up, lots to do. I got to get to one of these golf outings.
You do. You do. You could always golf at the conference because there is a golfing option. So you just have to go a little bit early. I'm
Okay.
thinking about doing that. Maybe we should golf together. We'll figure it out.
That'll be
But
fun.
one mention that we have to include is the fact that this is Dawn's final conference. So everybody who loves Dawn, which is basically everyone who has ever met her, needs to come to conference and give her a great send off. Thursday evening is going to be a wonderful dinner in her honor, and you got to show up for Dawn. So get your registration, get your hotel room, even if it has to be a little bit further away, and make sure that you register for conference it's at ilcma.org, along with all the other events that Danny mentioned. So
And
anything,
right now,
yeah,
before you exit this and leave us, vote for Phil. Vote
vote for
for
Phil,
Phil.
everybody. Phil's our man. We can do it, Phil. We can do it for Phil. Well, good to see everybody, and good to see you, Danny.
Good to see you, Melanie. Keep doing
All right.
great things.
Yes, you too, sir. And we are signing off for the Local Gov Stories podcast, and we'll see you next time.